Welcome, everybody. You found your way to the program for this week at the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley, and we are excited to have you here, to have you taking part with us every week to learn about all the kinds of cool, innovative stuff that is happening for entrepreneurs and educators and such folks all around the world. And we have a special guest this week, and to introduce her, I am going to hand it over to our member, Jean Tognetti.
Thanks, Rushton. I'd like to introduce Eileen Brewer today, who is representing the TechWomen Exchange Program. Eileen is a director at Symantec Corporation, and I met her through our local Silicon Valley Computer Using Educators Conference back in March. She wanted to have an opportunity to discuss the TechWomen program at our conference, and so we invited her in. The TechWomen Exchange Program brings in women to the U.S. from about 20 countries, and they are mentored here locally in the Bay Area of California. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Eileen to tell us more about TechWomen.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you today. My name is Eileen Brewer, and I'm a director at Symantec. I've been participating in the U.S. State Department TechWomen program for over 3 years, and it's a great opportunity for me to share about it. I'm going to go ahead and share. The TechWomen program is an exchange program. It's a mentorship and exchange program that is funded by the U.S. State Department Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs. The TechWomen program empowers, connects, and supports the next generation of women leaders in STEM through a month-long mentorship program hosted by companies in Silicon Valley. There's different terminology that we use, so I'm going to go over that very quickly. We have emerging leaders, and these are the women who are arriving to Silicon Valley from the Middle East, Africa, and Central Asia. They're coming here in for 1 month of technical training in October, and we have a new group of women every year.
Eileen, before you jump too far into that, seeing you just fine, but not the slides. So if we could take, that's all right. If we could kind of jump back to the screen share and pull those up, that'd be great.
I have selected in sharing entire screen and the TechWomen presentation.
And you are good to go.
Very good, thank you. The participants are the emerging leaders that we just talked about and the professional mentors. Professional mentors are the women who live and work in Silicon Valley, and they provide a month of technical training for the emerging leaders at the mentors company. And many of these mentors participate year after year. And then we have cultural mentors. They're women who live in Silicon Valley who provide a month-long support, cultural experiences, and support to the emerging leaders while they're staying in Silicon Valley. And many of these mentors participate year after year. So during the program, the emerging leaders arrive from 21 other countries and they land in Silicon Valley. And while they're here, they do both technical training and cultural experiences. So they'll work on a project that they've defined with their professional mentor. They'll attend many workshops and networking events, and they'll get an opportunity to go out and have cultural experiences. And then they also get to go spend 1 week at the State Department in Washington, D.C. During their professional mentorship, they're assigned to a professional mentor who helps them design a project that's based on the participants' goals and expertise. So these women all come with a STEM background, so their wish list can vary quite a bit. So they could be a scientist or an engineer. They could work in solar power or gas and oil. They may be a teacher who's teaching STEM or using technology to teach other courses. And they could be entrepreneurs starting their own businesses. While they're here, they will also participate in outside cultural enrichment activities. So they'll be in workshops every Friday. Those are organized by IIE, which is the Institute of International Education. They execute the program on the behalf of the State Department. So they'll set up all types of events where the 100 women will go and attend different activities. Then each emerging leader will have some cultural mentors who will help them participate in activities in the San Francisco Bay Area. So this could be hiking in the Redwoods, or going over the Golden Gate Bridge, or going to see the symphony, or going to a Giants game, those types of activities. So this slide talks a little bit about some of those activities that they've done in the past. So the emerging leaders who arrive have strong credentials. At an absolute minimum, they have a bachelor's degree. Many of them have higher education. Last October, we had 78 women participate, and of those 78 women, 6 of them had PhDs, 32 of them had a minimum of 1 master's, and the balance of them had a minimum of at least 1 bachelor's degree, all focused in the STEM fields. This is a list of the countries that are participating this coming October. We have just finished the application process, and we will have over, I believe we're at 99 women will arrive this October. The application process is very extensive. There's anywhere between 30 and 100 applicants per country. So we have selection committees, and we go through an extensive process to select the best. We usually receive anywhere between 4 and 6 women from each of the countries listed here. And every one of them have gone through written surveys and in-person oral interviews at our U.S. embassies in these countries. They've also gone through an extensive security background check. So everyone that has been selected has been identified as somebody who is educated in STEM, speaks and writes English fluently, and is identified as someone we would consider an emerging leader, someone who's going to make a difference when they go back home. This slide provides a bunch of logos for all the different companies in Silicon Valley who support the TechWomen program. And all these companies may have women inside that are either providing services as a professional mentor or a cultural mentor. And some of these companies may also be just hosting. They may be helping with hosting events or workshops at their facilities. So you can learn more about the program by going to techwomen.org. And if you go to the website, there's a lot of information here to help share with other people. So if you are wondering, well, what can I do? If you are a woman who's working in STEM, you can apply to the program. Applications are open on June 22nd for this year. If you are not a woman in STEM, then you may also be a woman who's interested in supporting as a cultural mentor. And if you don't qualify for either one of those, there are other ways to help. You can host an event, your company could host an event, or there's other ways to get involved. We have corporate partners who help provide all types of categories here. You could fund seed grants, you could provide speakers, you could facilitate a tour at your facility. Maybe you work at Tesla and you could get 100 women in for a tour. Maybe you work somewhere where you could donate products. There's something that you want to get out in front of 300 women. You could donate products. You could deliver a training or a workshop if you have a subject matter expert in a certain area, or you could provide a sponsorship. So this website is full of all types of information to help you learn of ways that you or your company could participate. If you are at a school and you would like to have a panel of tech women come to your school in October, we can arrange that. And we're talking small groups. We're not talking 100. We could set up, 3 or 4 women to come out to your school and do a couple hours panel so that they can interact with the students. And also, if you know anybody who's looking for internships that are Silicon Valley residents, but they're looking for a summer internship or being a volunteer, they could help run the program in October. And even from now up through October, there's a lot of activities that internships and volunteers could be used. Or if you come up with your own idea of something that you would like to pitch, there's a contact information here that you can reach out to IIE. So that's what I have. Let's go into the Q&A.
Good deal. All right, and there are any number of questions I know that came up with the info that you just put forward. I've got my set for sure started over here, but I'm going to let Jean launch us into the first question.
Okay. Thanks, Eileen. Thanks, Preston. So, Eileen, are there plans to grow the program outside of Silicon Valley in the Bay Area?
Right now, there are no plans to expand outside of Silicon Valley. What we have been doing is expanding the countries that participate. We started in 2011 with just a small group, and we had about 42 women participate. And then the last 2 years, we had 16 countries with about 75 women arriving. And this year is the first year that we will have 99 women coming from 21 countries. We added 5 countries this year. So we have been expanding those who are arriving, but not the actual cities. We're very big in Silicon Valley. We go all the way out to Richmond and East Bay, South Bay. So we're not stating just between San Francisco and San Jose.
Okay, good.
Cool. And if I remember from the list, and you also mentioned that the countries represented Africa, Middle East, South Asia. I saw the stands in there as well. Is that right?
The stands just started this year, so we just invited 5 stand countries, and they will be arriving this October for the very first time.
Wonderful to see that the program is expanding as well. Now, you mentioned the process they go through to get accepted into the program. How do they find out about it? How would they know that there's this opportunity to go and be a part of something in Silicon Valley?
So we use our local U.S. embassies that are located in each one of those countries, and those embassies have relationships with the universities and some of the large corporations that are in those countries. So they have flyers, and they have all types of different ways that they will broadcast exchange programs. And then in all of those countries, there are populations of people who are always keeping an eye on exchange programs in the U.S. So this TechWomen program is actually one of 80 U.S. State Department exchange programs. So sometimes people will ask about, well, what about the guys, or what about some other field besides STEM? If you go to the U.S. State Department Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs and look at the exchange programs, you will find there's about 80 inbound exchange programs and about 80 outbound exchange programs. So there's a lot of opportunities.
Very cool stuff. I don't want to hog the questions. I'll pass one back to Jean here in a second. But when we look at the group coming in October, for example, so they're going to come in. You mentioned all of these different things that companies in the area might be able to do to help support, kind of what's going on, provide kind of opportunities. If someone were to come and speak, for example, to your group, how does that usually work? Where's kind of the headquarters where they meet, and how would that look?
Every year we reach out to the different corporations that are in Silicon Valley and ask them to help host events. So each year it changes a little bit. This year we've grown quite a bit. So we have 100 women arriving, and then we have professional mentors and cultural mentors. So if you're talking to the entire audience, it could be anywhere from 250 to 300 women. So it would need to be a very large venue. We oftentimes have used Juniper's facility over here off of the 237. It's a beautiful facility. And we've had other companies where I work at Symantec. We've hosted events all up and down Silicon Valley. There's been all types of different companies. So it depends on if the subject that is going to be presented is very, very focused just for entrepreneurs or just for scientists, then a smaller group would be invited. And so maybe there might be 30 or 40 people in the audience instead of 100 or more than 100. So first they determine what the topic is, and then they determine a venue that will accommodate.
Cool. Jean, how about you? What's next on your list?
So Eileen, when you and I first met, I know one of the things you were interested in is getting more exposure into the kind of the education community, at least in the South Bay. So can you talk a little bit about kind of what you would like to grow in terms of industries or types of organizations to support TechWomen? What are the target areas, so to speak?
So this year there's a strong focus on clean energy, green energy. We're looking to place women at clean energy and green energy companies. So we have a lot of women arriving with gas and electric backgrounds, so being placed at gas and electric companies. Oil industry would be very good. Anybody who's doing solar power or alternative energy, those would all be great places. Where we met and we were recruiting teachers, we're looking at potentially putting some type of a small program together where we can reach out to the women that I met at your event and have them maybe facilitate a small workshop that really focuses on the women who have arrived, who would like to receive training on how to use tech to teach or how to teach tech. So we'll be reaching out to the women that I met at your event and asking them do some brainstorming and see what we can put together there. We're also, based on conversations that you and I have had and I've had with some other teachers, we're looking at the potential of we may have some teachers arriving in the group and they may be assigned to a company, but it would be very nice if they could go spend 1 or 2 days at a school and interacting at a school and watching teachers teach and learning about the tools that the teachers use. So we'll be reaching out to you for that as well.
Okay, great.
I think you'll find that there are a lot of people in our Rotary Club who would be well positioned to help you out on the educational front for sure. We've got some women in the club who are accomplished tech folks. I think of Lisa Highfill and the work she's done in education. Mm-hmm. It would be wonderful to get her connected in some way. And then Jean and I both have had quite a bit of experience at the Krause Center for Innovation at Foothill College. Oh. And we should talk with Gay Krause about the possibility of maybe getting the group to visit there. So when we think about what different people can do as a part of this, it naturally comes down to this passion that people have to help with one cause or another, and obviously the idea that you've got women focusing on STEM fields in different parts of the world. I'm wondering how you became passionate about that as a topic. How you kind of said, this is something I really want to spend time with. I want to find ways to help and make this program happen.
For me, I got introduced to the program through an email message from one of our female directors that stated that Symantec was a sponsor of the program, encouraging the females at work to go ahead and apply into the program, and that was in 2012. So I went ahead and applied, thinking that it sounded really interesting to learn, to be able to work with women from other countries and to learn about their jobs and what it's like to work in those countries as being a woman in engineering and science. So I applied to the program, I was accepted, and the way that I have participate has evolved over the years. And so now I have a little specialty. I work a lot with hardware, and so what I do is we do delegation trips. We get to travel and we get to go to these countries. So every year we go to one country in the Middle East and one country in Africa. And I literally take old used motherboards and I shove like 6 or 8 motherboards into my suitcase and I take them with me and I go on these delegation trips and we do little workshops. So it might be 40 or 50 young girls, and I have a little spreadsheet. It's called Motherboard Basics 101, and I get to teach the girls about the components on the motherboards. Seeing them light up and seeing their confidence grow in a 20 or 30-minute period and seeing them enjoy the learning about that hardware is what brings me back every year, and the opportunity to work directly with the women and learn what it's like for them working in the countries they're working and being able to help in any way that I can. Very inspiring.
Can you tell the story of one of the past participants maybe that you met when you visited one of these, because you've been on these trips, I mean, taking the motherboards and everything like that, maybe describing, the particulars of one particular visit? We were in Rwanda about a year ago, and we were staying in the capital in Kigali, and our delegation actually stayed at the hotel that was depicted in the film Rwanda, where it depicted a lot of the genocide. It was called Hotel Rwanda was the name of the movie, and we actually stayed in that hotel, and we actually visited the genocide memorial. So being able to see a country firsthand after
the only thing you know about it is what's in the news or what's in a film. And being able to meet the people and see how they are living and see how resilient they are and how beautiful their country is and how well they have moved on and moved forward, and their willingness to invite and engage with people from other countries. So we got on a bus and we drove on this bus for about an hour, and we literally ended up on a dirt road, just this big bus bouncing down a dirt road. The houses that we're passing have no concrete, no driveways. They are mud walls. They have no electricity, no running water. The people are tending to their crops out in the front yard or the backyard and wave to you as you go by. Everybody's happy. And at the end of the road is a school, and the school is 300 junior high girls who have been selected to come in and participate and get an education. These girls get up at 5 a.m. and have a cold shower. There is no luxury of hot water, and they work all day. They go to school from 8 to 5, and they do homework from 5 to 7 or 8 at night. They don't have any place to go. They are out in the middle of nowhere, so they are just there. They are hungry for an education. They are polite, they're eager, they're engaged, and they want to learn. So being able to see a facility like that and tour a facility like that and sit down and teach them about motherboards, and then other women with us, they taught interviewing skills or eye contact, handshaking, what's an elevator pitch, how do you apply to universities. The girls will say, I want to be an engineer, but they have no idea what that means. So providing them the opportunity to explain the difference between a civil engineer, an architectural engineer, a software engineer, a hardware engineer, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, right? Like they have no idea what any of those terms are. And so being able to describe what it means to be an engineer, and just being able to spend time with them and hearing their stories of where they came from, or how often they see their family or don't see their family, and their aspirations, and they're so excited to be able to have the opportunity to learn and go to university, and just spending that type of time with these girls, and then getting on the bus and leaving and driving to the next event, it's life changing, and it stays with you. And you get to continue to see them. We have a closed Facebook page where we're able to communicate with women who are in the country, and the facilities that we go and visit, the staff at those facilities can provide you updates on what some of the students are doing and who's been accepted into university. And it's just, it's a pretty moving experience.
Fantastic stuff. All right, well, Gene, do you have other questions?
I was wondering, Eileen, you mentioned projects that the women who come to the United States endeavor to take on. Can you talk a little bit about one or two examples that are you aware of, kind of specifically what they do, and if you could describe one or two, that would be very interesting.
Sure. So one of the gals her name is Janet. She's from Cameroon, and she started a school so that girls would have an opportunity to learn engineering. In a lot of these countries, internet access is very intermittent. So depending on the internet, to go to Coursera or Khan Academy to use the videos is very intermittent, very difficult to do. So while she was here, her project was to use our internet to download the videos from Khan Academy onto a server that's inside of her school. So from here, she could use our internet to get access and be able to download those. So when she goes home, she had all of those videos downloaded locally inside of her school, so she's not dependent on the internet to get them. Another gal that was one of my mentees, she was from Tunisia, and she works as a project manager in telecom and was responsible for building some of the cloud projects. And so giving her access to semantic engineers and stating, this is how we build a cloud product, this is what it looks like from a customer perspective, And then this is what it looks like from an engineering perspective, how we build cloud to run on the cloud infrastructure, and then take her all the way to the engineers who build the cloud backbone and teach her how they build the backbone to make sure that it's secure and it can receive updates from all these different product teams. So giving the full spectrum of this is how we build and support cloud products, and give her that skill set to take back and apply with her projects. One of the gals was, she's in solar energy. She was mentored at Solar City, so she was actually able to see how solar projects and products are designed and built, and then actually taken out on site and being able to actually help install solar panels. So it's quite the gamut, and it's a lot of fun to hear about all the different work that they're doing while they're here.
That's great, because they're so real world. I mean, it's things that they can definitely apply either, I mean, almost like, on the spot, with like your example of being able to download con videos back to her server, so when she gets back, she's going to be able to just, hit the ground running with that. That's great.
Right, right. And in addition to that, we also teach them a lot about leadership. So leadership skills, entrepreneurial skills, a lot of things like just watching how we work inside of our companies. And it could be as subtle as how you use Outlook. You may ask a woman, do you use Outlook? And they may say yes. And then you may show them a feature of scheduling. Are you able to see everybody's schedule and select an hour when everybody is free? They may say, I've never seen that feature. So they may have a high level view of how to use a tool. So if you take a little bit of time and go a little bit deeper, you learn they don't know the next set down. And that's not all of them, but definitely some of them. And so even real basic ways to use the full features of some of our tools is a huge productivity increase for them, or providing them opportunities to do presentations, and helps increase their confidence and their leadership skills.
Great.
Very cool. Well, we have about reached that time, and so I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to our club. I hope that the recording gets shared broadly. All of you who are watching this recording, make sure you take the time to send the link on to your colleagues at companies where they might be able to help with the TechWomen program, and hopefully provide some more opportunities for places that the women from these countries will be able to visit while they're here in October, as well as hear about different efforts going on in different places. I want to thank Jean as well for preparing for this broadcast and doing our introduction. To all of our members, we are excited to have you be part of the effort to reach out and find wonderfully cool people like Eileen who are doing these wonderful things, so that we can share it with our members and with people around the world through the connections of Rotary. To all members and guests, make sure that at the bottom of the page you do the I attended survey. That lets us know you were here. And if you are a guest, that also means that it will generate the email that you can share with your club secretary so as to use this experience for makeup. Finally, to all who have been here, I hope you will add a comment at the bottom in our discuss system, DISQUS, down at the bottom. And we ask that you engage in the conversations, not just leave a comment, but look at what other people have written and let them know what you think as well. And we hope that you are going to be back with us next week. We are excited to bring these kinds of things to you from the Rotary E Club of Silicon Valley. And with that, we wish you a wonderful week.